Oh, and just in case I didn't have enough to do, I picked up another one of these. Try to make a good one out of two of them. I don't know if it's practical, possible. All I know is this one's steering is all screwed up too. Oh, this one has an oil filter though. This is probably the nicer of the two then. Yep. Let's see what's what. Okay, here's our first good luck. We got to clean it off. Everything was going just wonderful until I was putting air in this tire back here, and that popped off. So check this out. Really nice seat. This thing's in good shape. Well, relatively speaking. The deck's kind of not looking so great. But you know, we have the other deck over there, and that deck's pretty good. So I'm hoping we get this one. This one seems to be in better condition. Oh, even the lights are hooked up. It's got its air cleaner box. This one has an oil filter. The other one doesn't even have an oil filter. So I have no idea what condition it is. Of course, the battery's crap, I'm sure. Throttle moves. Heater selector moves. Right? Yep. Deck gizmo. Got an electric switch. Even the key. The ignition switch is good. So hopefully we'll get into this one. Hopefully this one we can get together. Maybe just swap the deck if we're really lucky. You shall see. The other tires at the moment are holding air. So what are the odds that's the same tire as on this one over here? You know? Maybe we'll get lucky. I'll just take one of the one that holds air over there. Hopefully both those hold air. At least one of them. And we'll go ahead and swap that over there if it's the same size. So it says 18.5 overhead valve. It's a very common configuration. These little mowers. Mine over there's got a twin, so. Alright, well, let's get this thing cleaned up and we'll get started and see what we can figure out. Alright, so we're cleaning it up. We decided the best thing to do is pull the deck off. We pulled this stinking guard up here. God, they beat this thing to death. Got in here and found out this bracket was all bent to hell. Steering, little arms off. Then we got the deck off finally. And I think this deck is ancient history. It's all seized up, although, you know, that doesn't stop me, but now we'll see. It's pretty well toast though, so the idea is to get one working, one out of this whole mess, but I really wanted a second deck, or another one I got, but it's not looking good for that. Anyhow, looks a lot better, stands a lot prouder. Amazingly enough, this left rear tire still stand up pretty good and having no air in it. I think it feels much better. I know I do. Alright, I'll keep cleaning. Okay, so this is kind of amazing. So I put the battery, the little 12 volts, on my little 2 amp trickle charger. Well, 2 amp on the charger. Mind you, that charger's she's 40 years old probably. Not quite. Pretty close. Coming from Western Auto. So I put on the trickle charger. Checked it a couple days ago. Because I'm going to pull the plug and run this thing. Turn it over and see if it'll turn over. And I think it will because it was doing it before. So check this out. I put on the charger. Look at that. 12.46 volts. No big deal. It's charged up. Check this out. That's a date code, June of 2014. That makes it 11 years and 11 months. 9 years, 11 months. Jeez. almost 10 years old. It's holding the charge. For 2 days it held that charge. So we're going to see what happens when we pull the plug on it. Connect the battery cables back up. I believe the ignition switch even works. And see if we get any fire and see if this thing turns over to start with. So far so good. It's looking good. Alrighty then. I put the charger on it on 10 amps. It's got a, I don't know, I'll do a 10 amps. 10 amps. It has a 50 amp boost, but I don't think I need that. I got the plug out of it, and I'm going to look over here, and hopefully that's grounded. I'm going to watch that and see if this thing will turn over. As soon as I answer that call. Hold on. Okay, lovely being on call 24/7. Okay, so let's. That looks like a new plug too. I guess I have a new plug and I put in the other one. Let's see if it turns over and if it sparks. Lights are on. There we go. Yes, indeed. We got spark. It turns over. Beautiful. Let's clean out some of this fuel system. Put some gas in it and see if it'll light off. In fact, I think I'll do that first. I'll just put some gas into the top of the carb there and see if it'll fire. And then if it does, then I am on to cleaning the carburetor. Probably changing the oil. This is very good. Looking good, looking good. I know sometimes it seems insignificant, and I just gotta bring this up. So I'm trying to put the plug back in it. Trying. I can't do it. Can't get it in there. Reach up there, find, oh, not even in the hole. So I reach up and find where the hole is. I say, okay, well, I'll put it on the end of my, without the ratchet, I put it on the socket and extension. And I'm spinning. I can't get it. I take it out of there and put it in my fingers. I know where the hole is. Can't get it. And I just said, fine. You want a little anise, so I went, got just a little bit of anise, put on the threads, stuck it up there, and spun right in there. Sometimes the little voice is just talking to you. You need to listen. Alright, so I got some lovely gas. It's actually mixed gas. That's why it looks like that. I don't mind putting a little oil in. I'm going to dump it right into the little carburetor hole here. Just a little. About that much. Get that out of the way. I've got it on 10 amps. I'm going to stay away from that side in case we get a nice big backfire or something out of there. I've got the parking brake set. I've got a neutral. Doesn't matter. I got the back pulled so that it's in freewheeling mode anyway. I checked to make sure I had some oil in it. All I'm looking for is some life out of the engine. I cannot tell you how good that makes me feel. We got a live engine. Fantastic. Get the carburetor cleaned up. Get the oil changed. I have that coil from the other one. I will check and see if that's the same as this one. If it is, I'll put that new coil on here. It's already got a new plug. Fantastic. Let me just do that again. Gotta get a new fuel filter. Clean the fuel system out. That's very encouraging. I'm gonna have to do some serious work down here. Maybe take stuff off the other side if I can transfer them instead of this one tire. But fantastic, that's the main thing. I get that engine running. I got the deck from the other one. Oh, this is looking good. I'll give you some good news. Fantastic. All right, we're cruising. Well, pleasant enough. I was able to straighten the whatever the heck that is, cover. Goes up under the front. Taking my plastic mallet and putting it up against up the corner of the bricks here and on the ground, and passed on that pretty good. looks pretty good. Got a few more little taps, and I will to clean that up and clean it. But it didn't take too long. Huh. Cruising. All right, next quick step was to pull the old fuel filter, and running along with sometimes what happens, someone just gave me this fuel filter, an old carburetor that they just swapped out on something else, and that happens to be pretty much the exact fuel filter that was there. Some things are still working out. Okay, we're gonna pull the cover here, get that carburetor off of there, see if we can do it without screwing it up this time, and clean it out. Gotta find an oil filter, put some oil. This is good. I gotta pull the cowl out. I gotta get to that valve cover up there. It's all nasty, rusty, and if it, yeah, somebody's hungry. If it matches this other one I did, then I'll just swap it because it's already nice and cleaned and painted up and everything. So we're heading for the cleaning out the fuel system now as much as we can. Get some good gas going through this thing. Get it back running. So I got my little wrench and I start taking the bracket off like I did on this other one over here, and remembered you don't have to do that. This cowling picks up, it comes out. It's kind of a weird way. You pick it forward and you lean it backwards and you pull it up backwards, and the cowling just pulls up out of there. So if I can show you, I'll have to show you putting it back in. But you can see the way these are marked. You stick those in marked, yeah. The way they're bent, you stick them in and then you kind of push this thing back in there. We'll go over that when we put it back in. Makes it really easy. Well, I realize that on the other side. I did the other one, I should say, but gives you complete access to the front, makes it real easy. So gonna pull that off, and I've replaced the coil and the wire on the other one, so it's probably the same. I'll probably swap that over, and this one's already got a new plug. So okay, we're gonna keep going and get this plastic thing off the top, and actually probably really don't even need to. We gotta kill that deer fly. And the brake clean's for. I'm gonna spray them. Yeah, I'll probably get that off of there and give me access to a little easier what I'm doing here. Gotta get that thing out and apart and clean it out. Alright, let's keep going. So this is another one of those things I picked up from one place and said, you know, maybe I'll have a use for that someday, and never really thought about it. And then here I need to get it to clutch under here. And here's the actual tool for doing this. Amazing. Yeah, this is what feeds my addiction to collecting stuff, unfortunately. Makes it very difficult to walk past stuff that someday I might be able to use, because every now and then I actually got a use for it. Okay, interesting development. Turns out I was right. I didn't film this part, but this PTO clutch, someone's had it off. It's got two slots to go on this pin, which locks it in place. And when we had that clutch off of there, there's a bolt in the middle, just drops off. This whole thing just falls off. It's a magnetic clutch, metal to metal, basically. This thing's making a god-awful noise. There's a pulley up under here, which I'll show you later, that was bearing shot in it. It's rattling around like crazy, so I'll get another one of those. And what I was saying, because of the cross piece, I don't have that out here either, the connection between this wheel and that wheel, it was running into this, so it couldn't operate like that. Well, when you had this off, you could clearly see the slot here had a little bang mark on it, which made perfect sense. We turned the clutch to the side over here. The electrical connector is actually on the opposite side where the wire comes in at, so that also agreed with it. So right now this thing amazingly is running. Just it's got a little shaky when it gets down around idle, but it's running high speed perfectly fine. I'm going to see if I can go find the pulley in that cross piece somehow. It's going to have to be used somewhere. Worst case scenario, I can make something flat stock drilled through or something. But I think I should be able to find. There's a lot of these mowers out there. Oh, air's leaking behind me. So that's where we're at right now, and amazingly I managed to get this thing to start moving. Also, as I thought, confirmation, there's a lever back up in there. I'll have to show you when I get it jacked up, but when you move that lever in the back, that's the go lever, and releases it so you can push it around. That bracket, that lever back there was not moving, and I started banging on it back and forth a little bit. It only moves just a little bit, but didn't realize that I had actually shifted it into the drive position, and then I couldn't move the mower because it was locking the rear wheels. And then came back under and knocked it the other direction, was able to push it around. So this thing's actually going to start to move, because last time I had it up in the jack, since I had moved it into the drive position, started it up and it was actually going to move, trying to go forward and backwards. And once you let go of that clutch pedal over there, awful racket. So the pulley goes right up underneath there. So that's where we're at right now. All I need is a pulley to see if there's any other pulleys making all kinds of ungodly racket. And if I can come up with the rod that'll go in between there, it's just a straight rod. We'll be ready to drive this thing around. I got to get a valve stem for this back wheel since I broke it off. It's missing altogether. It's funny, if I sit on this thing, it'll flatten out the bottom, and if you get off it in a few minutes, it'll end up popping back up. And then the big thing is to see if I can get that deck, which was on the other mower, which used a manual lever to engage it. If I can get that to work with this PTO clutch, that'll be beauty. That means I can put that deck, which works on this mower, which will work. This is good running engine, the whole deal. So far so good. It's looking like we're heading in the right direction. It's about time. I got to get this thing out of here. I've got too many projects, too little time. All right, that's where we are right now. Okay, at this point, with the hungry cows, I'm gonna assume things are proceeding nicely with the second mower. So this is the deck off the manually controlled mower. Much better condition than the one off the PTO powered mower. So what we're going to try to do is, of course, make one working one out of the two. I really didn't plan on doing it that way. I just planned on hoping that this one would hook up the same way. There's a few little differences. We got a little spring here. This is the manual one. And the electric clutch has got this gizmo in here. Also, it has its front wheels. Now, you notice this one does not, so we're going to pull the wheels off of that. Stick it over there on that one. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here and put it on that one in the same way. It may have a different size belt too, but I'm going to do that. I'll take those wheels off of there. I'll eventually end up taking this thing off of there. It's not very good, but it's better than this one. So that's what we're on to now. Get those wheels transferred over, that springy dealy over here, and we're going to be getting close. I'm waiting on the front tie rod, which I found online. 50 bucks for a new one, right from Sears Parts Direct. Actually seemed to be cheaper than anywhere else I found on eBay or anything. This has a different, interesting, it's got a different rear setup. See, this one's got adjustable wheels on it. Huh. Well, we're going to put the adjustable ones on the front and see what happens. So, look, still holding. I thought the most difficult part of this whole thing was going to be replacing this valve stem here. Of course I broke it off, but I went over to a shop where we have a bead breaker for like golf cart tires, but it's not there. I was able to just stick a 4x4 and lean on it. And this is just a suggestion of a bead apparently, because it just popped right through there. I just pushed it on down, pulled a little piece out of there, wet that little valve stem just a hair, stuck it up in there, and no problem whatsoever. Ready to go. I'll go over the hardware that goes on there, take that, put it back on in just a minute, and I pull that thing out if I can, because this guy's getting kind of ugly. We'll see. Alright, so here we got an axle. It's got a slot down in there. It's a bearing that moves down in here. I don't know what. This is just sintered metal. It's metal. That's going to go on there. These two washers are going to go on the outside. And it's got a lock clip. It goes on the end of the axle and the slot. This, of course, is to go in there. I assume it goes up in there. Oh, cutouts right there. So it's going to go in there like so. And it's got this cool little rubber boot, but you got to be careful when taking it off. You got to reach up under here. I have an O-ring tool made of brass so they can hook under there, and you carefully pull it up. You don't want to tear this because this is going to seal up the outside of it. I think I'm going to put some grease on there. Yeah, put a little grease on there. It's probably going to attract dirt and grime and everything else, but I hate to see it just dry. And I guess I'm going to be stuck out here for a while. Alright, let me get onto that. Okay, those are the channel locks I use to put that clip on. And now I got to put that boot on there. It's maybe the toughest part. Got to go over all that. So it's going to have to be stretched out in some manner. It's going to have to be like that. Just kind of work it around. Almost. Like so. Oops. I was pointing up in the air, wasn't I? Anyway, we worked that. And we're on. Alright. That part is done. Okay, well I still don't have the tie rod for the front wheels, but I was driving this thing back and forth out here in the yard. Put some more gas in it, put some more upper cylinder lubricant, gas cleaner, fuel injector cleaner they call it, but it'll do the same on the carburetor. So I run it where it's popping a little bit and just keep it there. And the idea is that the carburetor cleaner is going to clean out those sections of air passages that are kind of gummed up still, though they shouldn't be. I had the whole thing apart. It only needs to run really good at wide open throttle when you're mowing anyway, so that's where I've got it. I picked the idle up a little bit so it idles, still pops a little bit, but it's got that weird little adjustment plastic cover. It only allows you to adjust the mixture just a short little bit. So anyway, so here's the deck I've converted. The deck for the manual control had a lever over here with a brake on it. Had another spring from here to there, holding this, from there to there, holding this plate forward. So off the other one, so I took those brackets off. Took that bracket off. Took another bracket off. I remember. Put this spring gizmo on here. Took some of the clevis pins and put them on there, so it's got clevis pins. Took the front wheels off the other one and put them on there, which are adjusters. I do have the back ones taken off too, so I can actually put them on the back if I need be. Make this a fully adjustable evened out deck. This is an extra bracket here, so I think it'll be okay. It's got a brake on here. I'm not sure how this goes. When I put it on the clutch, it may pull this thing. I may have to take this off. Probably so. There's another bracket up in there that came off. Blades are in good shape. So I'm going to slide this under there and see if it hooks up the same way. It's looking like it's going to. Like it's the same deck. It's just going to be a matter of the configuration up here since I now have an electric clutch on it. So that's where we're at. We're going to slide that up under there. Oh yeah, and I took the guard off the other one as well, and then took this pin off of another deck I had. That's junk. So I actually have this one hooked up. Of course, it's tore up a little bit. But you know what? It's better than what was on there. So hopefully this will do the trick and it'll run. And if it does, I'll be cutting some grass here a little bit, even though all I can do is go in a straight line. Waiting on that tie rod. Should be here in a few days. Oh, tomorrow. Should be here tomorrow. Boy, hope I can have this thing done in a couple of days. Alright. Let's proceed. Yeah, I'm happy to report. Looks like the deck fits just the way it's supposed to. All the brackets. The adjusting thing is kind of wacky. Kind of worn out. But you know what? It works at the moment. Tight fit back there at the wheels, but so I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up and see what happens. If it'll engage or not. You know what? Why don't I just go and do that right this second, and we'll just see what happens here. See if it'll start. Tie rod. I'll put the cowling on it. I think we're 98% there. Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am about that. See, it does want to idle really good, but like I said, oh wait, maybe 90%. I got to deal with those tires and run out of air. And I'm going to try something that tire people hate. I'm going to slime them. Maybe bring the idle up a little bit more. Oh, this is cool. Alright, looking good. Well, quitting point for the day. Did a little touch up. The cowling back on. Oh baby. Gotta do something with the tires once I get the tie rod at the front end there, I shall probably, let's identify which tires are leaking. I'm going to probably put a bunch of slime in there. Like I said, nobody deals with the tires, don't like that, but these are little tires, and if anything goes, it'll probably be me dealing with them. So that's pretty good for today. I think tomorrow I get that tie rod, I'll be mowing the rest of this grass. Look at that. Yeah, I did a pretty good job. Blades in good shape. I'm liking it. Finally, this has been a long time coming. I hope I get this thing finished up tomorrow. We'll see. Alright, it's getting exciting. I got my tie rod. I went ahead and of course primed and painted it. These are 5/16 24 nuts that go on there, and what I'm trying to put on it is stainless fiber lock nuts. But hardware store nor Lowe's had them, so for the time being, until I get some of those, I'm just putting some, only thing I could find, some plain stainless nuts with some lock washers temporarily. Cool thing about this tie rod, it can only go in one way. Goes right on that. Ooh, gotta pull that stud off of there. So pull that stud off. I think that's a 1/2 inch. It's probably gonna turn, so I'll pull that. I'm gonna lay that across there now that the clutch is out of the way. It's greased up the front end there. Now I'm down to, I'm assuming that's gonna work. Put that in there. I'm going to drive it around a little bit and let the air out of the tires and put some goop in, because there's 3 of them that I think are leaking. Then I just got to get that lever in the back under there that allows you to push it or put it engaged with a drive. I got to get that freed up. So we are down to, I think, 3 things here. It's exciting. Okay, well, we got a bad valve stem on this one. I already replaced the other one. This one is basically just cracked. I knew it was at any time. So rather than returning it and having that happen immediately, I'm going to change it out. I got a large one, even though I knew when I ordered it I really needed a little one. Doesn't matter, same thing. So first thing you got to do is get this plastic boot off of here. I happen to have this little O-ring tool that I made for taking O-rings off in aviation, but you gotta get a start on that thing and to peel it off. Just gotta come around those washers like so. I just stuck a floor jack up under there. I happen to have a floor jack. So then what it has is this little snap ring gizmo. I forget what they call those. That comes right off. 2 washers on the outside. Uh-oh, I may have a problem here. I have to drop that all the way down. Now this has got a key in there. So it may take me 2 hands to wobble that. Hold on. Okay, with the installation of the valves on the front tires and the rear tires, and the deck being reassembled, and whatever the heck else I did, I think we're good to go. probably get it dirty. Alright, well, let's see. Drop the deck down to 2 inches. We can blow some of this out.